Welcome to Fox Valley in Focus. I'm Barb Nadeau, and I'm so glad to be your host today as we learn about some great fall events in the city of Sandwich with representatives from Sandwich Association of Merchants and the Sandwich Lions Club. And a little later on, we'll talk with representatives of Kendall County PADS and learn how we can help the homeless in these coming winter months. We'll be back with more right after this.
Whatever we deny or embrace, for worse or for better.
Underneath everything we are all people. And when we reach out a hand to one, we can influence the condition of all. That's what it means to live united.
Our first guest today is Leo Sondgroth. He's here with the Sandwich Lions Club. Leo, thank you for being our guest on Fox Valley in Focus. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having us, Barb. It's good to be with you again.
You have been a member of the Lions Club for quite a long time, haven't you?
Yes, I just celebrated my 30th year.
Really?
With the Sandwich Lions, yes.
So tell us a little bit more about the history of the club. How old is it?
The club is actually 65 years old. It was started in June of 1949.
65 years.
65 years. So.
And you've had a good and vibrant membership all those years.
Very good and vibrant membership. As a matter of fact, just last year, one of our charter members our last charter member passed away. So that's been a long run, but it's a very long-term club from a standpoint of the membership is, very, very, it stays. We have lots of long-term members.
Now, are your members, and I'm guessing active throughout all these years, as you said, and enjoying it, are they doing, I know you're doing local events, but are you also involved in some of the Lions International causes?
We're involved in Alliance International causes from a standpoint of supporting them financially, but we are kind of proud to say that we have in our club 4 past district governors, which in the state of Illinois there's, I think, 7 districts, and to be a district governor is kind of a big accomplishment, and to say that our club has 4 of them is kind of an accomplishment for our club.
So, time to boast. What makes your club stand out? What got the notice that led to those achievements?
Well, I think it's just that actually once Jack Norling, who has since passed away, but he was our first past district governor that I know of, and I think once that happened, several other people saw the opportunity and saw, what they can accomplish by being a district governor, and so I think that's what's promoted it.
Okay, so you're very involved in the community itself, and then also looking forward and out to the whole world, because it is an international organization. Correct. And I know it does a lot of good work. Right. But right now, this month coming up, in the whole month of September, you're working alongside, and I guess you probably do all year long, work alongside the Sandwich Chamber of Commerce and the Sandwich Association of Merchants. And you have some events coming up. Right. You want to tell us about?
Yeah, we try to work very closely with those organizations plus the city of Sandwich. But the big event that we have coming up in late September is we do a car show. Actually, we do 4 car shows all summer. June, July, and August, and then we have the one in September. We had one last night and had nearly 100 cars at it. And it's right downtown Sandwich, right on the streets in front of the stores downtown, just a super, super venue. And the car show people really, really like it.
Now, what kind of cars are we talking? We're talking, is there a limit? Is there a Focus, a feature
No, it's
car?
it's antique cars, but what's kind of interesting, and I have an older car myself that I take to shows, but it's kind of interesting that what we're seeing in the shows that I go to and this show is we're having a fair number of late model cars. I bet we had 15 or 20 cars last night that were less than 10 years old. But
it doesn't take too long to become an antique.
Right.
If you're
well,
a car.
They're bringing them because it's like a super Mustang or a new Mustang or a new Pontiac or whatever it might be, but they're the new muscle cars is basically what they are, and people are bringing them to show them off.
So what's the date of the September car show?
September 23rd. That's a Wednesday evening, and we do it in conjunction with the Taste of Sandwich that evening. That's why it's a Wednesday. And last year at our Taste car show, we had 120 cars, and it's just it's a super thing, and downtown is just bustling that night. It's really, really good for the downtown area.
How does the car show help your club, and how does it help Sandwich?
What we do is with the car show, first of all, we go out and we get sponsors for the awards and that sort of thing, which we make some money on that. But then the car show itself will take in maybe $500 to $1,000 in an evening with 50/50 and registration fees and all that sort of stuff. But we have dedicated that money to improve downtown Sandwich. Last year we were able to buy 5 concrete garbage receptacles that we've placed around downtown. And this year they've got a program going on where they want to put in some benches, and we're going to be able to purchase a couple of those. And it's just, that's, the money is earmarked for downtown improvement.
All right, and I think it's wonderful that you're doing that and working together. Our next guest on the show is going to be Roger Prindiville. He's from the Sandwich Association of Merchants, and I know as a businessman in Sandwich that you are allied with that group as well.
Right.
But there's really a feeling of community and so much work put into keeping Sandwich a vibrant downtown area. And I have to compliment the Lions Club for all the work they've done for 65 years to be part of that.
Right, yeah, it's an ongoing project, and you know, the emphasis of the Lions Club is to serve the community. And whether it's doing that or whether it's doing our other projects, whatever it is, our focus is to try to serve the community and be part of the international and serve the international community too.
Before we let you go, we want to give you their website. It's not that easy to remember, but let me spell it out for you. It's SND for sandwich dash lions.weebly, WEEBLY.com. And Leo Sondgroth has been our guest on Fox Valley in Focus. We're going to take a break and we'll have more right after this. Thank you, Leo.
You're welcome.
Mom,
What?
you can't find Ichabod.
What?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
It begins innocently enough. You don't return a phone call. You break a date at the last minute. But in fact, it's the beginning of a pattern. And soon, your friend with mental illness realizes you're avoiding them. But what if you knew that your friendship was the key to their recovery? Would you still lock them out of your life?
Roger Prindiville of the Sandwich Association of Merchants joins us now. Thank you so much for being with us on Fox Valley in Focus.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You were telling me before the show that Sandwich Association of Merchants is 25 years old. How long have you been a member?
Just about 5 years.
And what made you decide to join?
One of the members asked me to join. They try to get as many shops in Sandwich as possible, and I think we've got about 15 members now.
And the Sandwich Association of Merchants, it's kind of interesting to me that Sandwich has a Chamber of Commerce and this other group. You kind of work together and alongside each other, but you have specific focuses.
Well, we're more concentrated on the retail end of it, trying to get people to come to Sandwich and do their shopping as opposed to going to Walmart, get them in the downtown area and promote the shops there.
What kind of businesses are part of your group?
Mostly antique stores. Some are probably more properly described as gift shops or home decor shops, combinations of that.
It's interesting. Sandwich is kind of a mecca for antique dealers and shoppers. You really do have a lot of different antiques and gift businesses, and it's really interesting to see it growing like that.
We hope it keeps growing. That is a big draw. Draws a lot
Any
of people.
idea how many people come through to do antique shopping in Sandwich?
I have no idea. A lot. Especially on Sundays when we have the show out at the fairgrounds. That's a big day for everybody because they draw a lot of people. We try to help them. They try to help us, promoting each other.
And the Sandwich Association of Merchants, you're trying to be make it a shopping destination, as you said, so you're trying to help the downtown area. You also help the community in other ways too, don't you?
Just in general, and bringing more people into town. You know, whenever a Walmart comes in, the downtown struggles. So anything we can do to help keep the downtown alive is good for everybody.
Okay. You have a event coming up at the end of this month, and Leo was here talking about the car show that's going to be in conjunction with the Taste of Sandwich. That taste has been going on for quite some time, and that's kind of interesting because they're not necessarily restaurants, but everybody's bringing out their favorite dish, right?
Right. We have about 30 businesses that take part in that. They provide some sort of a sample taste of food for 700 people. We sell 700 tickets, and we have to cut it off there because it just gets too expensive and too crowded. We don't really have the room for any more than that. So some are restaurants, most are not restaurants. They just cook something at home or bring something in, and people love it. It's good. Good deal.
It really gives them a chance to have a variety of foods, but also a chance to walk in your door and see what you have.
Really not too much of that goes on. Everything's done out in front of the stores. The shop's right on Railroad Street and Main Street set up their table right in front of their business. The others get a spot in a tent that we provide across the street. We get 2 40 by 60 tents.
So it's just awareness that you're there and a chance to celebrate downtown and take
just
over the street?
Give something back to the town, and it's a fundraiser for us. It's really the only thing we ever bring in any money at, and the Taste does that, and of course run in conjunction with the car show that brings lots of people downtown, and we'd like to let them walk around and see what we've got down there.
Now, you have some holiday events that are coming up as well, don't you?
Christmas time, we sponsor what we call Secret Santa, which all the stores donate gifts, small gifts that the kids buy for their parents. And the money goes to the high school music program.
Oh,
So-
my goodness. So you're donating the items from your business.
Right.
The kids in the school get to shop.
They shop, buy something for their parents. I think last year the high school kids came in and helped with the wrapping of the gifts. It was nice, and we've had it for 2 years. It got quite a bit bigger last year, and we hope, of course, it gets bigger this year, too.
That's a really nice event. It really is. And then you said it helps the music program at the high school?
Right, the money goes to the music program at the high school.
Well, I know, living in this area for a long, long time, that Sandwich has a remarkable music program. They're well known, so I think that's a very good cause. Why did you choose the music program?
They had done a house walk. We do a house walk now, too. We didn't do it last year. We just couldn't get any houses, no volunteers. But we did it the previous year. But the high school has done that in years past, but for whatever reason they decided not to do it for a couple of years. I think they're only going to do it every 4 years. So we decided we'd fill in between when they're not doing it. So it seemed only right to give them the proceeds from it.
That's great. It's great. You're getting the kids involved. You're getting the little kids involved. You're giving them a chance of doing some Christmas shopping in a great way, a very comfortable way, and building that sense of community. So I think that's really sweet. But you're also doing things for your business community, and that's one of the things that I think makes Sandwich stand out, is that it has such a great downtown area, and it's kept it. And through thick and thin, good times and bad times, it's made it through.
So far.
Well, you're doing good things. That's wonderful. And
Thank you.
It's interesting to see that you have a lot more going on than I even realized when you start adding up the activities throughout the year.
Yeah, last year at Christmas time, we also sponsored horse-drawn carriage rides, which was a big hit downtown. The Park District does a house decorating competition, and they rented a, what would you call it, like an old streetcar to drive around and tour the houses, and you voted on the houses you like best. Some of the businesses took part in that. I think most of them didn't know what was going on, but this year they will, and that's fun too.
Well, it's great to have a chance to focus in and showcase Sandwich Association of Merchants and the great things that are going on in that community. I want to thank Roger Prindiville for being here. And I just have to tell you, if you're interested in the Taste and some of these other events that are coming up in Sandwich, you better get those tickets early. They go fast. Thank you, Roger. We'll be back with more on Fox Valley in Focus right after this.
Everyone has friends. There's online friends, friends to go out with on a Saturday night, Friends to hang out with and do nothing. Friends who show up on moving day. And then there are the friends who'll be there if someone is dealing with a mental illness. Are you one of those friends? It can be a little awkward when your friend tells you he's been diagnosed with a mental illness. But what's even more awkward is, if you're not there for him, he's less likely to recover.
I'm here to help, man, whatever it takes.
Ann Engelhardt joins us now. She's the director of Kendall County PADS, now in their 6th year, or I should say beginning their 6th year in Kendall County. Thanks for being with us here on our show.
Thanks for the invitation.
It's great to have you here because this is a phenomenal story of starting Kendall County PADS from nothing, and now you are looking at another season starting out with all your churches that have been lined up throughout the years.
The first thing I probably should say is that Kendall County PADS is a homeless shelter program, and we provide temporary overnight shelter and hot cooked meals in the evening and breakfast and lunch for homeless people in Kendall County.
What you can do in a night is, to me, truly amazing. You give them a hot meal
Yes,
and a hot breakfast.
yes, and they leave with a lunch and snacks. We do have 7 churches, thankfully, that are providing shelter. There's one each night of the week, and Sunday night is at Cross Lutheran in Yorkville, and Monday is Yorkville Congregational in Yorkville. Tuesday night is at Harvest New Beginnings in Oswego. Wednesday is Plano United Methodist. Thursday is Trinity Methodist in Yorkville. Friday is Church of the Good Shepherd Methodist in Oswego. And Saturday is St. Luke's Lutheran in Montgomery. So you can see they're kind of spread around, but those are the churches that stepped up and said, we will provide a place.
And that's amazing. And they start in October?
Right, October 18th we'll start, and we'll offer shelter for the 6 months from that point on till through April 16th next year. And the program wouldn't be possible without the volunteers. It's just been an amazing experience for me to just be in camaraderie with the people that work at these shelters. We need a lot of volunteers.
How many volunteers do you use the service of in a whole season? Any idea? Obviously you do know.
Sure. If we're at full capacity, we have around 600 volunteers throughout the county and sometimes beyond the county. Each night of the week requires approximately 85 to 90 volunteers to make it run successfully. We'd like to have 2 men and 2 women on each of 3 shifts. The shifts are about 4.5 hours each, starting at 6:30 at night when we get set up. The shelter opens at 7, and they'll stay till 11, and that's first shift. But it also has a food crew that first shift, and there are 4 or 5 people who prepare and serve and clean up that meal. And then there's the middle of the night shift, shift 2, and it goes from 11 at night to 3 in the morning. And the third shift goes from 3 till 7, but they stay a little after that, 7:15 or 7:30, to help clean up. So it's just an amazing operation because it really needs every single person to be there. Otherwise, we couldn't open our doors.
Right. You have a variety of things that are needed too, and people of different shifts and availabilities. Are you willing, are you able to stay up or be up at 3 o'clock in the morning to help another human being? And it's really amazing. But you mentioned like 600 volunteers for the entire 6-month season. How many will be returning? Do you have an indication right now of how many were last year's volunteers that will return for you?
We are so happy that around 75% of our volunteers come back every year. There's a little bit of a turnover as in any organization, but with this large of an organization, we'll still need over 100 new people this year. So we hope there will be people out there who will be inspired to give just one time a month. That's all we ask, one time a month for 4.5 hours, 6 times over an entire year, which is our winter season. And those who come frequently say how much it means to them to be part of this and to know that they're touching the lives of someone in some way. Even the people who are there in the middle of the night know that they're providing a very important part of the program because they need to be there for the safety and security of all who are our guests who are there sleeping.
And we're going to talk in a moment with one of your site coordinators. Steve Allred is going to be our guest on the show next, and I want to continue this conversation with him. But before I let you go, I just want to ask one question. When is your next training date?
We will have a training for new volunteers on September 28th at 6:30 p.m. at the Yorkville Congregational Church, somewhat centrally located. We will possibly have a second training, and we'll get that one posted on our website and Facebook page and so on.
Okay. Ann Egelhart, the director of Kendall County PADS, our guest today, and we'll be back with more on Fox Valley in Focus.
I remember how much you said you liked wine. Oh.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Real men know that getting tested is the way to take care of their families. That's why real men wear gowns. For a list of the tests you need, go to ahrq.gov.
Steve Allred joins us now. He's a site coordinator for Kendall County PADS. Steve, thanks for being here on our show.
Oh, great to be here. Thank you.
This is such a wonderful and warm story, Kendall County PADS. And Ann was telling me that you were a PADS volunteer before you ever discovered our PADS here in Kendall County.
That's correct. We were, me and my wife were involved in DuPage County PADS program. We served there probably 4 years. And then we moved into Oswego. So when we heard the opportunity to get involved with Kendall County through our church, we kind of pushed them in that direction. And it's just a great organization that helps a lot of people.
Well, that's a big commitment, though, being a site coordinator.
It is a big commitment, but you know, with the way the system is set up and the job that Annie has done with setting it up, it's really not that hard.
Now, where is your site?
Our site is Harvest New Beginnings in Oswego, Illinois.
Okay, and on an average night last year, because who knows what's going to happen this season, last year, how many people would come in each night?
We can average anywhere from 5 people to, I think our largest was 14 at any given time. It varies throughout depending on how cold it is and you know what people need.
You have an evening meal, a breakfast, we were saying, and also you send them off with lunch. But is
Correct.
there a procedure? Do they have to show up, or do you see people wander in at all hours of the night?
Well, there is procedures in place. Our average night is basically getting there at 6 or 6:30, setting up. 7 o'clock we open doors, and food is served generally at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and clean up. Doors are locked at 10. So anybody that comes after 10 usually has to be accompanied by either Oswego or Kendall County Sheriff's or Yorkville Police Department.
So if our police find someone in need, they may bring them to your door, but otherwise everyone's all checked in.
Everybody checks in, and once you're in the site, then we don't allow them to leave. If they leave, we don't let them come back in.
You know, Ann was talking a little bit about the training coming up at the end of September, and I wanted to ask you, what's involved in that training?
Training is just going over procedures. Training is going over how we want things done. It's kind of to put all the sites together. When you have 7 different churches, we try to make it as consistent as possible so that all the sites run relatively the same. So once you're in a routine, and this training seminar just allows all our volunteers to get on the same page.
What do you think it takes to be a volunteer for PADS?
A heart. It takes somebody who, I've always said that we're a breath away, every one of us, from being in a possible situation, whether it's tragedy, whether it's loss of job or whatever. So to be a volunteer is just giving back. And I think it's a great opportunity for husband and wives to come out and volunteer together and give back time and really do something that's a very worthwhile program to get involved in.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because I think a lot of people wonder what it is that brings a person to a pad site. It could be a variety of things.
It can be a variety of things. We've had people who have had house fires that lose everything and they have no place to go. We have people that lose jobs. And it's just a variety of things. People that are kicked out of their kids that are kicked out of their house, which you don't like to see kids in homelessness. But in Kendall County, it's a rising problem that we have. You know, I think a lot of times people get the wrong idea of what homelessness is, you know, and any one of us is close to homelessness if you really look at what today's society brings.
But Steve, can you see people rise above homelessness through the PADS program?
Absolutely. We've had some really memorable experiences through the people there. You give them hope, you give them insight to the different things in Kendall County. Organizations that are in Kendall County, which we have, the Sheriff's Department's very involved in it. Kendall County Health Department is a huge contributor to this, where we have help for people that can go through counseling. Kendall County Food Pantry delivers a lot of the food and takes care of that source for us so that we have a continuous supply. And there's just a ton of churches, a ton of support, and it's just a really great organization to be involved in.
For you as a site coordinator, you're there every night that it comes to your church, but most people, as Ann said, they're going to do their 4-hour shift and that's it. Once again, we want to tell everybody that your training is coming up at the Yorkville Congregational Church on September 28th.
Correct.
And so will you be there to
I will most
listen
likely,
and
I
add?
will most likely be there. Yeah.
Do people ask you about some of the experiences you've had, or are there things that stand out in your mind that make you want to keep coming back year after year?
Well, what makes you come back is just the joy of being able to serve and being able to help people through a time. You never know what's going to come through the door. You never know what that person's situation is. So it not only takes a heart, it takes compassion, because you know, what is to a homeless, what is very simple for our days as a routine, for somebody that's lost everything, you know, depending on the situations, it's not routine to them anymore. So just by giving them a smile, by giving them a warm meal and a place to stay, means the world to most of them. Very, very appreciative for just that time. And it's a great feeling to serve.
Well, I want to commend you for what you're doing. And you know, we don't think about it, but once the wind starts to blow and the rain starts to come down, and we're looking forward to another, sizable winter, they're saying, I think that's when we start to realize. So we hope that you'll keep the PADS program on your mind and in your heart, and consider volunteering. I think that's a great thing. I'm so glad you came and talked to us today.
So glad to be here.
It's been great to be here on Fox Valley in Focus, and so many
Absolutely.
important messages to share with everyone. Thank you for being here and watching our show, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.